Michelle Dubé and Ken Shaw.
Good afternoon. A Mississauga mother is demanding answers from the Catholic School Board after her son was allegedly sexually assaulted by an older student in their elementary school.
The school did not inform the child's mother, and days later she got a call from the Children's Aid Society. CTV's John Musselman brought us this exclusive story last night at 6, and today he has a follow-up live from CAS headquarters. John, staff at the agency are on strike. Did that play any role in this situation?
Well, Michelle, it's certainly becoming a topic of conversation here in Peel Region. As you can see behind me, they are here on the picket lines. They've been on strike now for more than 7 weeks, and there are no new talks scheduled. But the case we first reported yesterday has the mother and many of the striking workers here asking a lot of questions. As we mentioned, they've been on the picket lines here. Mediator has been called in, but there's been no deal reached. And what the accusation from the union is that a lot of the case files in Peel Region aren't being properly handled in a timely fashion. Now, we first reported this story yesterday when the mother contacted us saying that there was an allegation that her son was sexually assaulted in a washroom at Metropolitan Andre Catholic School. Now, the police did investigate this. CAS also opened a file on the case. That file was closed yesterday. The police found no criminality, but the mother thinks that she waited too long to hear from CAS about what happened to her son, at least the allegation. And the union is now telling us today that they don't believe that this case was handled properly. Here's what a child support worker who was on the picket line here today told us this morning. This mother waited 5 days before she heard from CAS. What is your reaction to that?
It's significantly disappointing. We know that if all our workers were working, that there would have been a different response, right? We would have been asked to go out once we were informed of the situation. Someone would have reached out to mom to say, you know what, this is what we've found out. There's a potential of an interview with your child on the police. Would you like to come and sit down and at least be there in support? And we would continue to be a support for mom during this time as well as the child. We'd want to be able to offer counseling, being a sounding board. If she has any concerns with the school, we could easily advocate and have those conversations with them as well.
Now, that is the union position on this. We have spoken to CAS management, and we will be doing an interview with them later, but I can tell you that they told me that they have a serious, experienced people looking at all of the files despite this labor disruption. I just got an email from the mother involved in this story, and it's her position that the system has failed her and her son. We'll have much more on this story tonight on CTV News at 6. Reporting live, I'm John Musselman. I'll send it back to you.
Thank you, John. CTV's John Musselman, who is in Mississauga with more on the alleged sexual assault of a 7-year-old at his school. And John, we told our viewers last night about the delayed notification to the child's mother by the Children's Aid Society. Now, the CAS is on strike, has been since mid-September. Was this a factor?
Well, the union claims, Ken, it was a factor in this case because they say they're short-staffed here, but we did speak to the CAS and they said they followed proper protocol, but the question still hasn't been answered why this mother was never told what happened until days later.
No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace!
More than 400 Children's Aid workers in Peel Region have been on strike for 7 weeks. Managers and caseworkers from outside the region are trying to handle the active files, but the union claims CAS can't keep up and cases aren't being handled properly.
There's just not enough people, right? So based on their numbers, 180 people who are doing the work, we know that they can't replace the 435 workers that we have.
And the troubling story we first reported yesterday may be an example. A 7-year-old boy was allegedly sexually assaulted by another student, a 10-year-old boy. It happened in the washroom during an after-school program at Metropolitan Andre School in Mississauga last Friday. The boy's mother, who we cannot identify to protect the child, tells CTV News the school never called her, and CAS told her about it 5 days later.
They're taking 4, 5, 6 days to let me know that this is happening because it's under investigation. It's unacceptable.
The mother is furious and says the system has failed her son. Quote, it was not dealt with properly, and my son attended school in a program with this child for 3 days after the alleged incident. That's horrible. The union says it should never have happened.
We know that if all our workers were working, that there would have been a different response.
We spoke to management at Peel Children's Aid today. They dismiss the union's claims and say they are offering counseling to this mother, her child, and the other boy involved in this incident. Still, we asked them why it took 5 days before they reached out to this mother to tell her what happened.
When we have an incident that involves children and no adults, it does not meet our criteria for an immediate investigation.
In other words, if the allegation involved an adult assaulting a child, the response would have been immediate. Now, Peel Police did investigate this case and they found that there was no criminal activity here because of the age of the children. Now, we also learned today that the school board said that they deferred to the CAS under the Child and Family Services Act. But today we learned from CAS that because this was involved two children and not an adult, the school probably could have called this mother and let her know what happened. Reporting live in Mississauga, I'm John Musselman. I'll send it back to you.
Thank you, John.